injury attorneys at The Advocates can't actually prevent you from being in a cycling accident, they will be by your side to support you following your accident. Our legal services won't cost you a dime out of pocket. So when you need an injury attorney, call us. We're The Advocates, your Utah personal injury attorneys. You didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show, live on a Thursday. How the heck are you? It is May 9th. May the 9th be with you. 2024. And, you know, there's great controversy on The Monty Show this morning, presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. Don't forget, tomorrow is Giving Friday. The Advocates have a great program going on to help kids attain bicycles and have summer activities. That's what tomorrow is all about. Raising money for the Advocates to work in the community, because that's what they're about. They care about the communities they work in, and that's why they don't charge you to simply have a conversation. You've been hurt at work. The last thing you need to do is figure out how you can afford a retainer or a consultation fee. That's why you go to theadvocates.com, where you can chat with an injury attorney live online for free. It won't cost you a dime, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. So if you get in a car accident, you get hurt at work today, heavens to Betsy. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But if it does, be prepared. Get to theadvocates.com. So this morning, listen, you guys know that I am just a nice, kind-hearted fella. And, you know, I'm just here to spur conversation and create relationships that run deep into the bosoms of America. But when people wake up and say stupid things like Jake does every day, like, hey, Jake, are you on board with the fact that Jalen Brunson's been the best player in the NBA playoffs? And he says, no, it was Kevin Durant. I just struggle with that level of stupidity.
I never said that.
Said what?
That KD was the best player in the playoffs. Never said that.
Is
said
Rick
that.
Brunson's kid, who single-handedly carried the Knicks last night, is Rick Brunson's kid the best player in the NBA playoffs?
No.
Nope. And I wouldn't say that he alone carried the Knicks. DiVincenzo,
Go ahead,
Josh
slurp.
Hart.
Slurp, my man.
I'm not slurping. I'm just telling you what I saw last night.
Well, I mean, I think so. Do they win that game without Rick Brunson's kid last night?
No.
They don't.
No. Do they win the game without playing a really good second quarter without him?
I wouldn't say that they played a really good second quarter without him. You think that listen, I think we're going to argue minutia. I think in the grand scheme of things, I am pretty passionate about the fact that Jalen Brunson's been the best player in the NBA playoffs. And I say that because not to denigrate or downgrade what Ant has done. I think Anthony Edwards is a fantastic player. Michael Jordan's kid, I think, has been nothing short of sensational in these playoffs. And when you've got the GOAT's DNA in your system, I don't know how you're not spectacular.
Right.
I think Anthony Edwards has been awesome, amazing. I whatever adjective you want to throw out. Rick Brunson's kid, Jalen, I think has been the singular best player in the playoffs. Without him, the Knicks are not a playoff team. And you can look at the numbers last night. I mean, he gets hurt in the first quarter. Very clearly, he was not the same player the rest of the game. And we're going to talk about the officiating in a minute, which I agree is problematic. But without Jalen Brunson and without his 29 points and his plus 26, They don't win that game. They're not a playoff team. The Knicks are just still nicking, in my opinion. I think Anthony Edwards, again, spectacular player that's on a very deep Minnesota Timberwolves team. Very deep. I don't even think it's close. And then you have OG Anunoby only playing 28 minutes last night after balling out and playing his best game of the playoffs. Then he gets hurt, does not return, and it is doubtful that he plays on Friday now. Yet I still think the Knicks have a chance to win that game because Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great player. There's no doubt about it. My reservation about him being the best player in the playoffs right now is who he's playing. The Pacers are not nearly the team that the Nuggets are. The Pacers are a good team, but they're an up and coming team, right? You've got Halliburton, you've got some talent there, good enough to get you into the playoffs.
Certainly.
But you're not a defending champion. You don't have the MVP on your team. But
aren't the Nuggets out of gas though? I think we're all watching a team that just doesn't have legs. I think that's part of this. Now, again, I'm not taking anything away from the Timber Puppies. I truly am not. They're dominating the world champions who are tired and out of gas. You're seeing this Nuggets team hit the wall very clearly, in my opinion. They played a ton of basketball. And this is why we don't have dynasties, right? This is why we don't have dynasties, because you just can't sustain that level of energy. So, yes, I agree. The Denver Nuggets are better than the Indiana Pacers, undoubtedly. What the Minnesota Timberwolves did to the Phoenix Suns, who you guys know I love Devin Booker. I'm a huge Suns guy. The Suns were never in that series. It was over before it started. That's domination. They're dominating the Denver Nuggets. But let's not pretend that the Denver Nuggets are the same team that won the championship last year, because they're not.
So outside of the T-Wolves, who's the best team in the playoffs right now?
Oklahoma City.
So if the T-Wolves were to dominate Oklahoma City, then we would have a different conversation. Is that fair to say? Like if they move on and they dispatch OKC in 5, let's say.
But again, I'm not having who's the best team. I'm having who's been the best player in the NBA playoffs.
Right, but you're discounting Anthony Edwards because you're saying the Nuggets are out of gas.
I'm discounting Anthony Edwards very minimally. I think that Anthony Edwards has been spectacular. I think that Jalen Brunson has enormous pressure with the Knicks. I mean, the list of why Jalen Brunson is that dude. You're playing in New York. You're playing at the Garden. They're chanting, "Fuck you, Reggie Miller," last night, right? Like, this is the New York Knicks. Like, the spotlight. Anthony Edwards, frankly, the bigger story in Minnesota is Alex Rodriguez trying to buy the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? Like, you have no pressure to succeed in Minnesota as a Timberwolf. That doesn't mean he's not. That doesn't mean he hasn't been spectacular. There's tons of pressure on Jalen Brunson in New York. That's number one. Number two, he has single-handedly carried that team. We can sit here and we can make nice about the story that the Knicks are. They won without OG Anunoby in the fourth quarter last night. And it was because Jalen Brunson was spectacular. I don't need Isaiah Hartenstein dribbling the ball up the floor. I don't need that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I agree that Josh Hart playing every minute of every game is a and they're not winning. You take Anthony Edwards off that team, they're winning. It's going to be tougher. Would they be this good? Certainly not. But it's definitive. You take number 11 off the Knicks and they're done. It's over. There's nothing to talk about. I think it's a fascinating discussion. I think they're both great players, like you said. I think what we witnessed last night, that was fun. That was amazing basketball.
Yeah, my thing is, like, the other thing for me with Brunson is he doesn't really have to play defense in this series. Like, you're looking at a Knicks team that is playing the Pacers, and the Pacers don't have, like, Tyrese Halliburton be damned, don't really have a guy who's like their number one, like,
Nebhart,
hey, like
Nebhart, you're right, is a
like
easy
he's
matchup.
Dominating. He's
easy
dominating Nebhart on the offensive end. And Nebhart, all you got to do with Nebhart on the defensive end is not give him an open look from three. That's it. And it's not like he's running a track meet on the offensive end. So again, I agree. Without Brunson, they're not in the postseason. Okay, cool. Say Brunson's the better player, but the reality is he's not guarding the other team's best player. He's not initiating transition offense from the defensive end.
And the Knicks are clearly better than the Pacers.
Yeah, and I do think that Brunson deserves a lot of credit. We don't see this in the NBA much anymore, I have to say.
Which Brunson? Rick Brunson for powering the DNA, or Jalen Brunson?
Jalen for using the DNA to play on a bad ankle and whatever the hell is going on with his hand. Like your hand's taped up, your ankle. I thought that whole thing last night was really odd. Like, he didn't bang knees. He didn't roll his
Something
ankle.
happened there.
Like, it on the replay, it just looked like he sort of stepped maybe the wrong way.
Yeah, he got hit by a sniper.
Yeah,
It was weird.
Like, he got bumped and then landed on that ankle just sort of awkwardly.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, like, yeah, I mean, he's in a position where he's got the major market and, he's putting the team on his back. Cool. But what I'm telling you guys is, if you give these two the same opportunity, if all the factors are equal, Anthony Edwards is a superior player and he will be the face of this league sooner rather than later. But right now, yeah, if you want to give it to Jalen, that's fine.
Yep. Mike Smith says Bucked Up must have pissed off the Monty Show. Not at all. Yes, I'm drinking a Monster, but a lot of people
up yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of people ask us about this. We changed our advertising model because we moved back to the morning show. And you can still use, I say it all the time, our promo code at Bucked Up is still one of the best promo codes they have.
Mm-hmm.
Promo code Monty gets you 20% off at checkout online at buckedup.com. I would expect Bucked Up. We've been talking about doing something for football season, but you'll notice that we simply just trim back our advertising numbers. Whether it is our great partners at TridayTrading.com or Bucked Up or any of our past partners, we just don't have the bandwidth. And frankly, we have tried very hard to partner with the right brands. And that's why the advocates play such a big role in our show. Like, we're only doing, the morning show because it is for us on YouTube, it's a better revenue generator, right? So there's a balance there, but there's no thing with Bucked Up. And a lot of people, I stop and say that because a lot of people, it's a lack of understanding as to why we're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I've never said that Monster's better or anybody's better. It's just what happened to be in the fridge this morning, honestly. Like, I think we have, like, if I went up to the fridge right now, I'm pretty sure we've got like 30 Miamis in the fridge, and then there's
Buckshot.
And then there's Buckshot.
You use Buckshot every day.
And then we've got, Bucked Up's, all their product for like working out and everything.
Creatine I put creatine in my oats every single day from Bucked Up. Get it on Amazon. It's cheap on Amazon.
And I think we have like a couple of Monsters in the fridge. So I mean, it's not like it's a thing.
Everybody always looking for violence, man. Everybody always looking for violence. Ochi Gary, good morning to you. P. Forte, good morning to you. Ryan Smith's receding hairline. Good morning to you. Everyone, make sure to go vote for the hockey team name. It's important to get everybody's input unless it's $1 billion tax bill.
Show up.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Glenn, good to see you. Matt Ritson, Dakota Tubbs, Steve Stepanik. Hello. Aaron Wilson, let's go. Caps Lock Friday Cougs. Yes. Hello, my fellow humans.
You better show up tomorrow.
A fellow human comment might put you on the AI list like San Diego State fans. Okay. San Diego State, Glenn, NHL name, the Utah Blizzard. Dude, did you guys see? Please just make it the Yeti. Can we just make it the Yeti?
Yeah. So if you're not in our members only group, you need to get in it. Yesterday, the survey comes out, right? And, the survey says, hey, you can vote on up to 4 names. There's I think there's 12 or 15 of them or whatever. Hey, you can vote on up to 4 names. My boy Greg Hawkins jumps in the chat and says, hey, guys. And if you go incognito mode, you can vote as many times as you want because they can't track your IP address. So make sure you go ahead and vote as many times as you can.
Please make it Yeti.
It's not that hard, dude.
I want it to be Yeti. I want it to be Yeti.
I don't want it to be the Swarm. The swarm doesn't work.
No.
Like, yes, I get it.
The swarm is so...
It's the beehive
the
state.
Mountaineers.
And,
It's the Mountaineers.
It works with the bees. Like, okay, cool.
Bro, it's
This
the
is
Utah
hockey,
Mountaineers.
bro. This isn't a spring sport. This is a winter sport.
And if you follow Ryan Smith on Twitter, as I do, Ryan Qualtrics, you can see the survey there.
I do think it is an interesting, all jokes aside, it is an interesting jab that we're getting a public vote on the name, but not a public vote on how the money's spent.
Because that's how guys don't want oversight. They want PR and name. Oh, we're going to give the fans a say. Fuck off. You know what you're going to call it already. It doesn't even matter. Enjoy the tax dollars. I noticed that Soakers was not one of the possible names for the Utah hockey team. Exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly right. Utah Billionaires. Exactly right. Exactly right. Ryan Smith's receding hairline. The pro rata will revitalize downtown, bro. Yeah, the 3 blocks you want to build your helipad. Yeah.
And by the way, remember yesterday, or what was that, the day before, where we were talking about this, where you were like, "Hey, what's the music hall called that you like?"
Bravenel Hall.
Yeah, in the plan is going to get axed. Nice, dude.
I think I took that personally. Because a Bravenel Hall is like the Symphony Orchestra Hall. It's a beautiful venue. And now they're talking about the fact that it very well might go away. And I think it is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sir Bob Lob says, leave my bosoms alone. Oh, my bad. My bad. He also says Utah has taxpayers. Apparently not.
No, apparently not. Yeah.
Apparently not. Ryan Smith's receding hairline. Who was robbed worse, Utah taxpayers or SGA for not winning the MVP? We're going to talk about that. Bobby Fowler, good morning. Brunson misses too many shots and free throws and turns it over a lot.
Where are you getting that from?
Brunson last night was 11 of 18, 3 of 6 from 3, shot 50% from 3, 4 of 6 from the free throw line. 2 boards, 5 dimes, 3 steals, 2 turnovers,
the best,
plus 26.
Dude, the best part of Brunson's game is his ball security. I mean,
and his control.
It's very rare that Brunson has just careless, irresponsible turnovers. That doesn't happen.
We'll see. Mike Smith says Patrick Ewing starting to have PTSD issues right now. I love that everybody's trying to say that Jalen Brunson's the best Knick ever. He's not. Stop it. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Scott of Greywater Watch. Tons of internal pressure on Ant to be the face of the association. I think he is turning it. I'd be surprised if he wasn't in the MVP conversation next year.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised. Rick Forster. How about them Villanova boys?
Yeah, DiVincenzo is playing his ass off.
Josh Hart.
Like,
I'm just saying. Jalen Brunson burner. Get it, Brunson. It's a Brunson,
right,
Brunson.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. I do. Mike Smith, I'm amped. I'm all amped up right now. In about 30 minutes, I will be petered out and falling asleep. Okay. Okay. Scott of Greywater Watch. Ant-Man is going up against the defending champs. He is. And I agree. I think there's some credence to that. Is that series over? Probably. And if you didn't see it last night, Nikola Jokic won the NBA MVP. Shaq told him that it should have gone to Shai Gilgeous Alexander.
Fuck are you?
He said Shaq literally gets Jokic on the TV and says to him, it should have gone to SGA. I feel like this is a yearly thing at TNT.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the guy wins the MVP. He comes on inside. Somebody says you didn't deserve it. But okay. Like, I feel like in certain situations, Shaq is turning into hot take guy. But
I mean, I when I saw that, because Shaq's thing was like, hey, I want you to hear it from me first. So, I mean, I guess, I respect it from that standpoint. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and rip Shaq. I mean, he could very easily have not said it to Jokic. And I think that he deserves some credit for being willing to say to Jokic, hey, like, this is my opinion. I think SGA had a better year, but,
right.
You won it, like, obviously. Because he did say, hey, you're the best player in the league. I just thought that SGA deserved to win the MVP this year. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, Shaq is just insecure and he's got to hate on Jokic. And it's like, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think that Shaq looks at the league through his perspective and gives you an honest opinion.
Yeah, but it's a hot take guy moment. I mean, in my opinion.
Would you rather him? So if he's not going to do that, what's his alternative? To just say that on the set after the interview?
No, that's true. Which you can't do because then you look like a wuss. I totally agree with you. But it's just an observation. I was just like, come on, dude. Like, can we not just let the guy shine for a second, right?
Yeah.
He's not the best player in the NBA. And I respect Nikola Jokic, what the guy has done. But you're starting to see that teams have figured out his weaknesses a little bit.
Yeah, they're figuring out how to play him out of the offense.
And because he's not a physical player. Nikola Jokic, as big as dem balls are, he's not a physical player, right? Yeah. He's not dunking on you. And if you get into his chest, which is what you're seeing Minnesota do, if you get into his chest, he struggles around the rim. And I think I don't know what is, and maybe I'm off on this. I should probably look at the volume, but I don't feel like he's shooting nearly as many threes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that their offense tends to ebb and flow, and I think he's gotten away from being selfish. There's so many times where
he is a bit passive.
He is.
He is a bit passive.
It's the best and the worst thing for the Nuggets. Like the best thing for the Nuggets is to have the ball in Jokic's hand and him feeding whoever the hot hand is. I mean, because frankly,
facilitating, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have multiple guys who can get hot, right? I mean, obviously Michael Porter Jr., Jamal goes without saying. You've got other shooters on that team. And I think that Jokic too often right now is looking for the other guy. And I think that is the adjustment you will see. He will force Minnesota to double him to get other guys open.
16-16 isn't going to win a game for them.
No.
In game 2, he was 16-16.
Dude, he needs to be 30, 35, and 15. Like, he needs to be much more of a focal point. And that's why you only see, again, with all due respect to the Timberwolves, because I do think their defense right now is the best defense in the league. They are not 80 points good defensively.
No.
Like, part of that is the Nuggets not executing offensively.
And Jamal Murray's been terrible.
Yeah.
But again, why is that? Well, because Minnesota's unbelievable defensively.
Yeah.
But Nikola Jokic can't score 16 and Aaron Gordon scores 20. That's never going to work. And if the three ball's not going in for Michael Porter Jr., you can't be one of. Do you guys understand that they were 9 of 30?
Yeah.
I said 9 of 30, and only 4 of those 9 came from the starting 5. How many
shots does Jokic have in game 2 right there?
13.
He's only taken 13 shots.
1 3-point attempt.
That's not going to be good enough. And what I don't understand about, and I've said this doesn't just apply to the series. I've said it all season long whenever we talk NBA. Why are you not trying to get teams in foul trouble in the playoffs?
Thank you.
Like, why are you not using Jokic to get a switch, get him off of Rudy or Cap, whoever's guarding him on that particular possession, get him on to Ant, get him on to, McDaniels, whoever, and get them into foul trouble. That's how you're going to beat Minnesota.
They need to run the pick and roll, and they've got to get back to that drive and kick, that demoralizing MPJ Jamal Murray 3-point shot.
Yes.
You have to get back, and you're not going to do that at Target Center. You're not doing that in Minneapolis.
Well, because the issue is
not happening.
And this is the reason I think Denver loses this series ultimately. They are not as athletic as Minnesota is. They're not as young, obviously. Like you said, they've played a lot of basketball. So the only way to victory for Denver is super efficiency on offense, meaning, hey, you got to be, 80+% from the line as a team. You need to be 38% plus from 3 on probably 30 attempts. And you got to be nails from the mid-range. And that's where Jokic has to become much more of a focal point. He can't be a point guard at 7 foot tall.
But I also think this goes back to Minnesota, because what did they do to Phoenix? They turned Phoenix into a drive to the rim because we can't get mid-range and 3-point shots.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think their defense is very good.
Yeah.
But hey, it is what it is. Would you have voted for Jokic to be MVP?
No, I'd have voted for SGA.
You would have. Yeah, I think I would have
100%. Too. I think that people are sold on Jokic as the MVP because he's already won it twice. And obviously this is his third that he just won, but before that he had won it twice already.
To win 3 in 4 years is pretty damn remarkable.
It is, yeah. And again, he's a great player. I just think that, again, the same way that we're comparing Brunson and that team and that roster build to Ant is the same way that I would argue SGA. I mean, SGA has a cast of young guys who sometimes show up and sometimes don't, to be honest with you. Like, Chet Holmgren needs to get his ass in the weight room. Like, there have been multiple times where he has not been able to move guys because he's not strong enough yet. And again, like Giddey to me is about ready to leave that starting lineup. Like, I don't see him being a long-term
I think
fit.
he is incredibly what's the right way to say it? I think this whole thing with this underage scandal, I think he's about ready to leave that team. I think he desperately needs a change of scenery.
Yeah.
And I don't think he ever gets away from that scandal. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And the other thing that I would say about OKC is I'm curious what an OKC Minnesota matchup looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think Chet has a good chance to play well in that series. I don't think Chet's playing bad in this series. I do not.
I just don't think they could handle the size that Minnesota brings. I don't know how you're going to defend that.
Well, how is Minnesota going to defend Jalen Williams and Chet and SGA? Because I think that's what across the front line, I think that's where OKC could win that series. We'll see. I
mean, what I would do if I was Minnesota, and I'm not saying this is what they're going to do, but I would have Ant on SGA, and I would have Jaden McDaniels on Jalen. And then when they switch, you obviously have your two best defenders on the team, your perimeter defenders, that is, switching and moving a lot. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't disagree that Ant's got a lot to work with. Like, defensively, they're a great team. And you know, they're defensively, they're having a bit of a coming out party as well. So that's why I say I don't really care who they're playing. They're going to be fine defensively against pretty much anybody because they have the guys on the perimeter. Like, once you lose perimeter defense in the league, it's over, because at that point, guys are just getting downhill.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Just tuning into the show. Talking about the NBA playoffs last night. Knicks go up 2-0 on Indiana. Indiana submitted, I think, 79 plays, something like that, to the NBA overnight. 49 calls, they say, were missed in game 2, 29 from game 1. I don't see the officials helping the Knicks. I think that, have there been bad calls? Yes. I don't believe that we have seen the, better blow the whistle right now to help the Knicks win the game call.
Right.
I don't think we've seen that. I think that the free throw disparity is not significant. I think that the Indiana Pacers are lobbying, and I'm not saying that they're wrong for doing this. I think they are lobbying because they know that they need public sentiment and they need the officials on their side, especially when this goes back to Indiana. If they are not getting more calls at home than they're getting in the Garden, because calls have gone the Knicks' way.
Yeah.
I don't think it's been disproportionate. I think the Knicks have been a significantly better team, especially in crunch time in this series. I do not believe, and again, just based on what I've seen, whether it is the Miles Turner screen call, I don't believe that the officials are like, my God, we have to make up a foul here. I just don't believe that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just don't think the series has necessitated that. I think the Knicks win that game by 9 last night, but they probably only win it by like 2 possessions ultimately, like when in crunch time. Like, you had some buckets go in late, but yeah, I mean, I think when you look at that game, like, it's probably only 2-3 possessions that really decided it. And I think that there's no excuse for, you're not going to hear the Pacers be like, yeah, well, we had Miles Turner take a pull-up 3 with 2 minutes left. That probably wasn't our best look. Like the Pacers were not, executing down the stretch. And I don't know the stat off the top of my head, but just from watching the game, it was like 5 to 7 possessions in a row where they just couldn't put the ball in the hole.
But you can't sit up on the podium like Rick Carlisle did and talk about how, he said something to the effect of, smaller teams need to be on a level playing field, or, he said something like smaller teams deserve an equal, like, fuck off. Like that, you can't sit here and tell me, well, man, it's Indianapolis. We need the Knicks.
Oh, smaller market teams deserve a fair shot.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Smaller market teams deserve a fair shot. I just don't buy that. I don't think that. So you're telling me OKC isn't getting calls? You're telling me Denver isn't getting calls?
It's just soft. It's soft.
It's incredibly soft.
You're trying to, pass the buck. You're saying, hey, like we win this game if we had a fair shot with the whistle. And I've always said this. And again, it's not to discount the crap job that officials do in the NBA, because there's a lot of nights where they're terrible. But again, you're not losing this series because of the officiating. You're losing the series because guys like Josh Hart are outworking you, man. You're losing the series because you can't make a bucket for 4 minutes in a row to end the fourth quarter. Like I couldn't believe that you ran a set there where literally the best shot you could get was Miles Turner with a fadeaway three off the weak side wing. Like what kind of shot is that? What kind of set it? Like that was terrible. And again, this is why I keep saying Indiana doesn't have their Jalen Brunson. They don't have their go-to guy. And Tyrese Halliburton was talking a bunch of junk against the Bucks, and it's been his coming out party all season long. And now he's not been that guy in the postseason. He definitely hasn't been that guy in this series.
Rick Carlisle said after the game, quote, small market teams deserve an equal shot. They deserve a fair shot no matter who they are playing. That's a cop-out. That is an excuse. The Pacers had every reason to win that game last night. And in my opinion, I think they lost because they didn't perform. You're pissed about a double dribble that wasn't a double dribble. Rick Carlisle gets ejected because he lost his composure in the final 2 minutes. And in my opinion, yeah, where you were down 9, sure, that game was not over. And Rick Carlisle getting ejected was in my opinion detrimental to the Pacers.
Yeah.
And then getting up on the podium and talking about they deserve a fair shot no matter who they're playing. Get out of here. No matter where they're playing, get out of here. Guy, your Pacers, you're not deep enough. You're not, the Pacers are not a bad team, but you're looking at Jalen Brunson going to the basket, getting body blocked last night, and you're pissed that's a foul. And this is the other part of the NBA that drives me crazy. You're arguing, bitching, and moaning after every single whistle. It was a body block, my guy. Yeah. That's a foul. Consistently, that's a foul.
Yeah.
No matter where you're playing or who you're playing.
Yeah, and then when they don't blow the whistle, when you want to have a wrestling match with Hartenstein in the corner, like you're not complaining about that. Like, and that's what I'm saying. It's just soft. It's soft. It's NFL teams bitching about a call late in the game when you couldn't run for a first down, when you couldn't execute when you needed to move the chains. It's the same nonsense. And this is what I say, dude, and if this goes back to Indiana and you play this same style of game where you're just getting outworked and out physical, you're going to lose at home. And that's what the playoffs are about.
You cannot allow the Knicks to shoot 67% for long stretches as they did in game 1 when they pulled away. And then last night after Jalen Brunson returned, the Knicks pulled away and shot 67%. And what did Tyrese Halliburton say after the game? He said, quote, let's not pretend like officiating is the reason we lost. We didn't play good enough. We've got to be better.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
pretty easy.
The Knicks are a better team. What you're getting from their 3 guards, Brunson, DiVincenzo, and Hart, that's why you're losing. That's why you're losing. Allowing Hartenstein to dribble up the floor without at least trying to swipe at the ball.
It's crazy.
That's why you're losing. To allow the screener a free roll in the pick and roll, that's why you're losing. Not fighting over screens so Brunson has an open 3 last night is why you're losing.
Yeah.
It's not the officiating. Is the officiating great in the NBA? It's not. It's inconsistent. Totally get that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Wow, what did I miss about Mike Smith is going on and on about BYU fans right now? Let's see. James, The Knicks will win as long as Brunson is on the floor. I would agree with that in this series. Alex Cooley. Regardless, the officiating in the NBA is god-awful. I would capitalize the G in God. That's just a suggestion. I think fans like to make the officiating worse than it is. And I think players make the officiating worse than it is.
Mm-hmm.
When you bitch about every call, every single call, and obvious fouls, when you have Jamal Murray throwing heat packs, and now some of the tape that, and I thought it was very well done, some of the tape that ESPN put out yesterday, I think Jamal Murray was trying to hit the official with his heat pack, and he missed, which is why he threw a towel that then hit the official's feet. That's why fans are like, oh, Jamal Murray is upset with the officials, which is why I think he was trying to hit the officials with the heat pack, which is why a $100,000 fine isn't enough.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert, and whether Jazz fans want to embrace this or not, why is Rudy Gobert not with the Jazz? There's a lot of reasons. You know what the number one reason is? His constant bitching and moaning at the officials drove a wedge through that locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And we had it first, and everybody picked on it after. What was the number one chemistry issue in that locker room? Don and Mike Conley could not get Rudy Gobert to stop bitching about the officials.
Yeah.
That's where it started. And it ended with losses. And is the constant bitching why the Jazz lost? No. Bojan not being able to make a jump shot in Dallas, one of the main reasons they lost.
Yeah.
But make no mistake about it. This league has a player official problem. This league has an issue where guys like Jamal Murray are allowed to throw heat packs at officials, because $100,000, like you said yesterday, I believe, that's walking around money for Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of money for him. And a one-game suspension for game 3, that would have been a big issue. But you don't respect the officials enough to suspend Jamal Murray for what I think video clearly shows is him throwing the heat pack and a towel at the officials.
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly intent. I mean, you can see it. And again, I don't know, man. I understand that, again, when you're talking about suspending star players like Jamal, you know, the NBA has a lot more to consider than, you know, what Jamal's target was, right? Obviously, you're considering TV audience. You're considering, you know, not just TV audience of the one game. You're considering the path the series is taking. And I've always said this.
Yes.
The NBA has a responsibility in terms of business to make sure that these type of series that have heat to them go as long as possible. I mean, the NBA, I'm sure, would love a 7-gamer between the Nuggets and the Wolves. And that's probably not going to happen. But, you know, you get my point. Like, that's why they didn't suspend him. And
But if the officials completely wanted to, they could flip the script in that series.
Yeah.
Everything's a charge on Minnesota. No blocks. Always a charge. Right? Like, those are the kind of things we routinely see when the NBA wants to flip a series.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem is I don't think the NBA is trying to flip this Knicks series. I just don't see it.
I think that you are going to see the whistle swing to Indiana's favor in Indiana.
Sure.
I mean, I think that that's expected. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think the crowd in Indiana is going to be ruthless. I'll say that. I think that, you know, while the Garden is loud and they chant some things that are really funny, I think that the bitterness and the vitriol for the Knicks in Indiana is going to be high and heavy, and that will be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yep, totally agree. Big Blue Horses, I loathe New York. After watching the Cry Fest, I want New York to win now. I think I'm disappointed in Rick Carlisle. I truly am, because I have a lot of respect for that guy. This is disappointing.
Yeah, it's soft.
Yeah. Mike Smith, I hate players that over-dramatize with the flops and falls. DiVincenzo did it the other night with
Brunson.
Miles Turner. Well, yeah, Jalen Brunson does it all the time. I agree. You even see it some NFL games with the Knicks and QBs when they with kickers rather, and the QBs when they barely get hit, but act like someone ran them over with a truck.
Because the reality is getting the whistle, it helps you win the game. Like if you can bait the officials into blowing the whistle more for you to the point where you're getting into the bonus with, let's call it 7-8 minutes left in the quarter, that's a big deal. Like I don't think your average Joe NBA fan understands that. Like if you're in the bonus with like 8 minutes left in the quarter, you are going to savage that team for the rest of that quarter. You're getting to the line every time the whistle blows.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Alex Cooley, what happened to getting fined for flopping? Yeah, it's called simulation in the NBA rulebook. And it's something
it never is enforced.
Yeah, I totally agree. Sir Bob Lob, wow, that was like 4 butts. What's wrong with 4 butts? But. You know. I don't know. I don't think the NBA was trying to help the Knicks last night. I do not. I do not, and
yeah.
I just don't buy that. I don't buy that. Oh, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I said by the way.
Yeah, by the way.
Yeah. What you get tonight? Cavs and Celtics. How about the fact that Boston's favored by 13.5 tonight?
As they should be.
What is Donnie going to have to do to earn your respect tonight? Because you ain't putting no respect on his name.
I respect Don. It's not like I respect him. I just don't think that Don is going to be enough for them in this series. And I don't think that, now in today's NBA, I don't think you can just have one.
If he scores 96 points tonight, will you show him some love tomorrow on the show?
Sure. I'll, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you going to take him in Prize Picks? What's his number in Prize Picks?
I don't know.
Tonight?
Let's look.
PrizePicks.com, promo code Macho to get 100% deposit matching.
Dude, for points, just points on its own, it's got to be at least 28. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was more than that.
I got hosed on Prize Picks last night, if I'm being honest.
31.5.
31.5 for points. And Cat is only 19.5. Are you kidding? Ant is 28.5. Donnie's 31.5, but Anthony Edwards is 28.5. That's crazy. Points, rebounds, and assists. Donovan Mitchell, 39.5. That's shocking. That number's 39.5. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 41. Luka Doncic is 50.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a guy choking?
Got to have a night.
There's some interesting numbers. There are some real interesting numbers
50
tonight.
50.5 has less written all over
That's a massive number.
Yeah.
That is a massive number for him. My God. Are you kidding me with some of the Jared Allen, 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists tonight?
And at 39.5 for points, rebounds, and assists is a pretty solid investment, I think.
At 39.5
points, rebounds, and assists.
For Friday, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all right. You think Boston covers 13.5 tonight?
I do. I think it's probably close to a 20-point win. I think.
That number's only 212.5.
Huh?
So you're not expecting Cleveland to score much in Vegas?
No, they're expecting, 120 to,
Are you surprised that at home, OKC's only 5.5 tonight?
No, because I think that this has Luka nuke game written all over it. This has,
Luka nuke
this has,
game.
10 threes, 50 points.
Nuke game.
Go ham game on it.
So you think this is
yeah, this has Luka's got to go crazy game written all over it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That's interesting. Big Blue Horses. Again, the NHL game last night was better than the NBA. The national media hasn't said a word. Did you guys see Florida quite literally beat the piss out of Boston last night?
Bro, Pastor Knock Linguini needs to learn how to fight, dude.
Yeah, Pasternak
got dropped.
He got punched in the face by Kachuk last night. Any morning that we wake up, what did Florida score? 8? Any morning that we wake up and the Boston Bruins are on the wrong end of a lopsided score is a good morning. It's one of those mornings where you can peacefully exist and live and just feel good about the way that your bowels are moving, right? Now, it's unfortunate that Vancouver has happiness today.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes Vancouver.
Yeah.
But that you lost, 6-1. And that there was pretty much a line brawl in the third period. And that shithead Marchand is a -1 and only had one shot. And that shithead Marchand had 10 penalty minutes and they lost 6-1. It makes me feel as though there's a chance that democracy can succeed in this country.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's all I had for you.
That's pretty good.
But the very fact that like Van Riemsdyk was a -3. Screw you, JVR. Screw you, Marchand. Screw you, Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that felt good. That felt good.
Yeah.
Very good. Big Daddy Magic. Hey, play it. Nobody likes Vancouver. Watered down rap in BYU. Can you go one day without making some ridiculous BYU statement?
Nope.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Mike Smith, by the way, it has been a while. That's right, bitches. I live on the edge. Team Dangerous. Okay.
See what he did there? He got the emojis.
He does.
Yeah.
Team Jeremiah, I see the plaque. Congratulations, guy. Love y'all's show. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. I completely agree. Sir Bob Love, Pasternak should not be fighting, but props to him for trying.
Bro, that punch that dropped him, though, my God.
If you didn't see it, the game was decided. Like, there were 1,800 Bruins in the penalty box after a line brawl.
The Bruins, devolved down into, hey, we're going to fight our way out of the arena tonight.
I was fine with that. I was fine with that. You basically had a line brawl. Pasternak got 5 for fighting, a 10-minute major after him and Kachuk were both on their benches. And Kachuk looks over to him, is like, you want to go? And Pasta was like, sure, why not? So they drop the puck, the plays back in action. Those two step off the bench and just throw down. And Kachuk punched Pasta right in the fucking face. Yeah. It was amazing. It was amazing. It's why I love the NHL. It's what's great about hockey. Hey, you want to go? Oh, you do? Okay, cool. And then they make a line change. They step out there. They don't even try to fake it. They just go.
Yeah.
And if I'm the Bruins, I don't want Pasternak fighting. I don't. But in that moment, it is what it is, man. It is what it is in that moment. Panthers tied the series last night, 1-1, 6-1 win over Marchand in the Bruins.
Yeah.
I cannot stand Brad Marchand. I can't.
He's a pain in the ass.
I am disappointed that Vancouver won the opener against Edmonton.
Mm.
I want Edmonton to be better. And again, I just will say that team goes the way Connor McDavid goes. Can't be -1 in a 5-4 loss.
Yeah.
Can't be. And yeah, you can't be. But I want Edmonton to be better, and they probably won't be. Bruins, not Bruins. Screw them. How about that? Screw them. I think the way you pronounce that is the Boston screw them.
Yeah, the Boston, you suck.
Screw them. Sir Bob Lob, I'm here to defend BYU.
Okay.
Okay. Mike Smith, I guess it's my time to be the one who randomly does not see BDM's post. He is truly magic. Okay.
All right.
Okay. I mean, he's right here.
Yeah, like he's not hiding, dude.
I don't know. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, but he doesn't care.
Make sure you download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty to get 100% deposit matching. And you can put in $10. They'll give you 10 more. You can play with 20 for a month on Prize Picks. I took it in the shoot last night. Last night was not a good night. Last night on Prize Picks was that. So I was going to go all in on Stanton and Juan Soto for the Yankees last night. I was like, nah, you know what? They've been red hot.
It's the Astros,
We're going to stick and stay on the Knicks because that's been winning me some bread.
Yeah.
As soon as Brunson got hurt, I was like, oh, this is it. I'm going to lose.
We have the Yankee game on, They come up first inning. I'm talking about BP fastball right down the middle. Like, couldn't be more center cut to Juan Soto.
Damn.
440 feet to center field, bro. Like,
I was like, okay, it's Soto, fine. Because Soto, I think, was 1.5 total bases. And I actually was going to take him and Brunson combined 3-pointers total bases, and I think it was 3.5. I'd have won right there. No, we're not going to do it. Okay, Giancarlo Stanton.
Mike.
And Tyrese Halliburton. 2.5, 3-pointers made, total bases. I think it was 2.5. Should have taken it. Didn't. Stanton deep. Not once, twice last night. I'd be sitting here with $125 back in the bank.
Chilling, bro.
Would have been good. No.
Overthinking it.
Way overthinking it.
Yeah.
And it's because guys like you talk me out of stuff.
I didn't talk you out of the Yankees yesterday. How did I talk you out of it? By the way, I got your boy, right? Because I hate Donnie, right? I've got Donnie tonight for more than 29.5 points. I went ahead and made the dumbass pick of Luka more than 50.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And I took Aaron Gordon to have 1-3. So there you go. Donnie and Aaron Gordon better come through.
I hope you lose, which means I'll probably lose. I am going. Do I include golf? Do I include golf? PGA Wells Fargo today.
And Justin Thomas is in one of the first groups.
Shut up. Rory McIlroy, birdie or better matchup, 0.0. The one I really like is Wyndham Clark to shoot 70 at Quail Hollow. I think he's going to go over 70.
Last year's champion.
I think he goes over 70. There's a couple of really good numbers in this field. Rory McIlroy, 69.5. You're going over that. You and I both know it. I just think it'll be really interesting to see.
I don't know. Wyndham's been pretty good there his last few outings. But he was also playing better golf last year.
Birdie or better? Tricky Ricky, 3 birdie or better in the opening round. In his last 3 rounds, he's at Quail Hollow. He's put up 4 birdies. I think you got to take that one. So I am gonna lose significant bread tonight because I am gonna go on a PGA run here. Okay. I love birdie or better.
Mm-hmm.
I love birdie or better. I think that when you look at Rory McIlroy, birdie or better, I think you got to go more. You're telling me he's not going to have 1 birdie? You're telling me he's not? I think you have to go more.
Well,
on
is that matchup or is that just straight up?
Birdie
or better matchup or just birdies or better?
Birdie or better matchup.
Yeah.
Birdie or better matchup. I like Shane Lowry, 3 birdies or better. Colin Morikawa. I mean, there's some good golf numbers today.
Yeah. I mean, you're essentially see when you look at the birdie or better matchup and then they all say 0, you just need to look at the guy he's playing because all you're deciding is, hey, is Rory going to have more birdies or less birdies than Patrick Cantlay in this round? Right? When you're matching it up. So it's like Cantlay's one of those guys on the tour where you never know what you're going to get. Some days, some rounds, or tournaments, this guy leads it wire to wire. And then other rounds, he's just terrible.
Akshay Bhatia, 3.5 birdies or better. Oh.
See, golf is one of those. I don't know that I would make your selections now. We need to look at the course and see what.
You shut up.
What the course has to offer.
What about your boy Deck? Why do you have Why do you have an odd boner for
Because-
Hideki Matsuyama?
Because Hideki Matsuyama
Stay hard.
is absolutely hard.
Let me ask you
and
this:
is
Dame or Dak?
Dak all day. Dak is one of the best iron players on the tour, and when he's got the irons going, he is dangerous as hell. And I love the swing. He uses a Scotty Cameron to putt. Like he just has that drip. And
3.5 birdies, more or less.
I would take more with Dak, but what
Okay,
is
here's what I've got. It's just birdie or better, not matchup.
Okay, yeah.
Ricky Tricky Fowler,
Hey,
more than 3. Spieth more than 4 or more, and Deck 4 or more. And we're gonna go $395 to win a penny.
nice.
We're gonna go $25 on that on a flex play. Okay.
Mhm.
And then NBA tonight. And you guys tell me. Here am I need your help in the comment section on this.
Right.
NBA. I don't see a prize pick special tab today. Like a combo, which I love playing.
Let's see. Where are the specials at, man?
I don't see a specials tab this morning.
You know, that's the other thing with prize picks to consider too. There are a lot of times where the numbers and the lines will update as you get closer. And sometimes you can get better numbers. It just depends on what you're looking at. The specials tab typically, I've noticed, I'm not saying it's every time, but a lot of times it comes through like midday. They'll roll out a special. And a lot of times they have to wait because they need to see what the injury card is for baseball.
All right. Jason Tatum, 10 rebounds or more. He's gotten 10 rebounds in 4 straight games.
Feels pretty safe.
Especially against Cleveland.
The land.
So I'm going to take that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Karl Anthony Towns to have more than 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the one that gets crazy. Luka Doncic, 50.5. He has done that once in his last 5. Do you expect, in the comment section, do you expect Luka Doncic to have a big game tonight?
Yes, I do.
I think he's a bust. And this is just me. I think he's a bust.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I believe I am going to go against. And this is probably me being stupid. I think I am just going to go against. And I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go against Luka I'm going to go less than 50.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Okay. I mean, the logic is there. It's a huge number. It really, the proposition on Luka tonight is, do you believe that he's going to have one of those games where he just goes off and just, does what he does?
Sir Bob Lablaw says fewer, not less.
What do you mean?
It's more or less on prize picks.
Yeah.
Those are the options
Are
you
we
get.
going to grammar class here? Like,
I don't know. Hey, playa, the weather ain't governor's weather yet. A nice new blue golf shirt, and I might be going big game hunting on the golf course. Okay.
Here's what I got for
Loner
golf.
Phone says Z.
Okay, cool. Get out of
Okay,
here.
You don't have to be. And by the way, I warn you about the emojis, boys.
So here's what I
Take
got.
your life in your hands.
Ricky Fowler, less than 71.5 strokes.
I like it.
Deck to have more birdies than Will Zalatoris today. And Jake Knapp to have more birdies than Russell Henley.
I almost went with Jake Knapp.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Luca, and he's going to score to piss off Monty.
Hey, Monty.
Hey, Monty. I don't disagree with you. He will do that.
See,
All right.
And the problem is I can see it both ways. So you just have to be definitive. You have to just, okay, this is what I believe is going to happen. I took him to have a big night tonight. But I also, and we talk about this on the show all the time with prize picks and in our group chat, that there is a great prize pick strategy to be discussed. Take the biggest or the smallest number and go the opposite direction. So
Yes.
50.5, massive number, play the percentages.
The ghost of Gumby is here.
Wow. Thanks for showing up for once, Slick.
Gumby, good to see you on the Monty Show. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show is always presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. Don't forget Giving Friday is tomorrow. The Advocates have a great promotion that they are working, and I shouldn't say promotion. They, as you know, routinely do initiatives to help the community. And they're doing a bike donation, which is Friday the 17th, next Friday at their office in Murray. Bicycles, tricycles, scooters of any kind, you can donate them. And it doesn't matter whether they're used, whether it's a pile of parts. The Bicycle Collective will take those and use them to refurbish bicycles. And I'm the thing that the advocates are so passionate about is making sure that the youth in our community is taken care of. And what I love about this and what I love about their bike drive is you can donate. And that's what tomorrow is going to be about on the show. We are going to do Giving Friday for the advocates, and all of that money goes to the advocates, who puts it right back into the community to help kids have summer activities like bike riding. This time they are partnered with the Bike Collective, and it is such a good collective, and it doesn't support college football.
It's not an NIL thing, but
but the advocates working hard to make sure kids have spring activities and summer activities. And we all know that idle hands do the devil's work, right? When kids are bored at home in the summertime, bad things happen. The advocates are trying to provide bikes for the community. Let's help them do that. Let's help give them activities for kids over the summer. Tomorrow is Giving Friday. You do not have to wait. You can enter now. We are going to give away at least $100 Amazon gift card tomorrow to somebody that makes a donation to the advocates on Venmo. Advocates donations on Venmo. You hit them on Venmo, take a screenshot, DM Jake, SLC Jake,
Yes.
on Instagram or Twitter. You DM Jake your screenshot on Venmo, and you'll be entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card.
Now, the last time we did this, we smashed,
and we gave away like $400.
We did 1,000. I think it ended up being like $1,200.
Yes,
and we ended up getting into a competition in the blurb section of your Venmo donation about hot takes in that section. So I'm expecting a good show out. I'm coming to work tomorrow. I'm actually showing up. Don't waste my time. Let's be productive.
I'm kind of surprised they're letting us participate after the last.
Yeah, well, you know what, Chris? I'm giving you the chance.
Chad Carter.
Oh, sorry, Chad.
Chad, Chris.
Who's counting, right? I'm giving you the chance to show out, right? Caps Lock Friday, Giving Friday. Like, we got a lot happening tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be amazing.
Show up.
Kim Coulter, damn, it's early, but I made before you're off air. I'll send a contribution to the advocates for y'all. Wreck 'em. Thank you. Make sure. And hey, if you do, just put bikes for the Monty Show.
Yeah.
Or Monty Show contribution, whatever you would like in the memo section. That really helps. Thank you for doing that. Mike Smith, my idle hands do the devil's work. It gets messy. That's what I'm saying. Big Daddy Magic, a playa. I'm down helping the kids. We appreciate you. Sir Bob Lob, I sprained my finger on the chat. Should I call the advocates? Well, I
think that's HIPAA.
You probably shouldn't. Chad Carter. Yes, I read that one. Yes. Promo word Monty. Exactly.
Monty.
Drop the hot pocket. Call the advocates. Real quick before we get to Boise State cutting them off at the knees on NIL. So last night, I was hankering for fish sticks last night.
Mm-hmm.
And Mrs. Monty actually acquiesced, and we had fish sticks. Dude, I walked by them Tostinos. Those Tostina's pizza rolls might have to happen. Although we're going to talk about processed food in our non-sports story. There's a new study about processed food. God damn.
Yeah.
1984. Jay Brandon. About time I finally get up to catch part of the show live.
It's about time.
1984 advocates are the real deal. Monty, what shaft are you using on your PXG? I use a super stiff. My driver. I had a non.
My bad. Sorry. My bad. Go ahead. Continue. What?
Grow up. I use a super stiff. I don't remember the name of the shaft I have on there.
Yeah.
But I use the stiffest shaft they make.
And what's really interesting is on your 3-wood, you have a pretty flexible.
I got fitted, and I have a 4-wood with a really stiff shaft, and I can't hit it.
Yeah.
A 3-wood with a more flexible shaft, I can hit it. Okay. It's my fault.
Yeah.
It's my fault. It's fine. The Ghost of Gumby pizza rolls are made with crack, dude.
Oh, okay. This is what I was going to ask you about the fish sticks. Did you dip them in anything?
Ranch.
Or you did ranch. Okay. I'm just making sure, dude. I wasn't sure. Like, I know you like tartar
What is
sauce.
wrong with
so I'm
you?
just making sure that, we were on the same page.
Mrs. Monty was like, do you want ketchup with those, bro? I'm like, come on, man. Come on, man. Ranch dressing. Mike Smith, it's been years since I had fish sticks. Last time they were nasty. Dude, these are really Grotton's fish sticks were really good. Really good. Mike's comment dump. J2H with a smile a mile wide on that one. There you go. I thought about this when we were paying for the fish sticks. Fish sticks, gay fish, LOL. It's a South Park reference.
Okay.
You've never seen South Park?
Yes, I have.
Loner phone. So emojis get you in timeout.
Dude, that's a well-documented thing. Ask anybody.
2 things everybody knows. Apple doesn't give loaner phones, and if you only comment emojis, you wind up in timeout.
Yeah, we know that.
Shaft. Giggity. Shaft. San Diego State Glenn, put pro rata in the memo section of your advocates' contributions tomorrow. No, the donation is the pro rata. If you post emojis only or too many, YouTube will get your ass. Yes.
Like, this is a well-known fact.
Yeah. You can't. Yeah. And the beautiful thing for you and not for us is we don't. So just so you guys know, because I'm sure the conspiracy theories will come out. We don't use YouTube during the show. We use a streaming program that brings in comments from all of our platforms. So you do you, man. You do you. Dakota Tubbs, processed food now cures cancer. This message brought to you by AstraZeneca Pfizer. Exactly. I'm one time out away from being perma-banned, the ghosting company. Please don't.
Yeah, you guys all remember the Oregon State Beaver initiative that happened over last summer?
Please don't. I like you all. Kim Coulter, $100 sent to the advocates.
Appreciate you.
Let's go. Giving Friday tomorrow should be a big day. Trying to get to $1,000 for the advocates. So again, advocates donations on Venmo, advocates donations. Just put, hey, Monty Show bikes, Monty Show for the kids, whatever you want to do. Make your donations at the advocates. All right, let's get into this Boise State thing. Boise State yesterday, essentially, Spencer Danielson announced that freshmen will not be allowed to have NIL deals. I am not so certain that you remember Brian Kelly yesterday said basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're here for a bag, don't come here. Good old Spence up in Boise went a little further than that.
Obviously, it's our job as a coaching staff, especially my job as a head coach, to build those relationships with these young men. I tell them, I'm involved in these kids' life because I love them, because I care about them, to develop them to be the best version of themselves off the field and on the field. And that is making sure we show them how we're going to develop them for the next level, and keeping the families and everyone connected as you walk through the process, because that's what we're different here. If someone was here just for the money or other stuff, that's not going to be a fit here. No different in recruiting. That's why when I talk to recruits, I'm upfront about those things. If you're wanting things that don't directly correlate to you developing, do not come here. If it's about your jersey number and how much money you're getting on the first trip, do not come to Boise State. You will hate me and you will not want to be here. But if you're about developing to be the best version of yourself and be elite and want to compete, bet on yourself, come on. You're going to fit here.
If it's about the jersey, because this is becoming a thing. This is where we're at with NIL. And this is what pisses me off about NIL. Man, I can't come there. You won't give me 69, bro? Can't do it. But you're a wide receiver. Yeah, I know. I want to wear 69. This is where we're at with NIL. Where we have kids, the money's not enough. It's got to be a jersey number. And he straight up said, freshmen will not be getting NIL deals. And Spencer said, hey, I can't stop you. If a local business wants to use one of our freshmen to promote their business, I can't stop that. He's essentially saying the school and the collectives will not be doing deals with incoming freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
You can say that at LSU. Can you say that at Boise State?
I don't think you can. And I think that we're going to see a lot of head coaches take this route, though. We're going to see a lot of head coaches do the whole, hey, like, we got to take a high ground here. Like, if you're just here for the money and you're here for the wrong reasons, then we don't want you per se. Like, we don't need you. We don't want you. Like, we're like, Spencer talked all about how they want the right guy. Like, he multiple times in his availability said, we don't have to recruit the whole country, right? Like, he goes on to say, like, we need 25, maybe 30 guys, an off season to come into our program and be the right fit. So to me, I just look at this guy and I say, hey, like, you need to understand your place here. Like, I agree. You can say it at LSU, you can say it at Georgia and Bama, but saying it at Boise State doesn't necessarily work. Your pool of availability to players is too small to just be axing out guys who are maybe more interested in money and benefits than they are in being a Boise State Bronco and, like, trying to fit into your mantra. And, I also thought it was really interesting that, we needed all this clarity yesterday on this comment about freshmen, right? Like, oh, well, hey, we're not going to be, the school and the collective isn't going to be doing deals with incoming freshmen. Like, there was kind of an awkwardness around that on Twitter yesterday. There was a lot of like clarity and like, hey, like, did he say that freshmen can't do NIL deals, or what did he say? And it's like, dude, like, I understand that there has to be a media strategy with the NIL situation. I get that. But you got to know the difference between, P5 or P4 college football playoff contending program and Mountain West never going to get into the college football playoff program, because Boise State's going to have a real hard time getting into the college football playoff. Let's be real.
This is a mistake. And I think when you look at this and you begin to understand, this is a mistake. When you see this right here, and here's the clarifying comment from Ron Counts. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. And he's saying that Boise State football coach Spencer Danielson said today that incoming freshmen are not eligible to make NIL money during their first year in the program. He wants players to have to work to earn it. That's neat. And that's all well and good. But I'm telling you now, that's not how you thrive at Boise State.
Yeah.
And I understand the challenges. I understand this life you chose, coach, is not an easy one with NIL. But you either get on board with it or you're going to lose. It is Dabo. It is Saban. It is every coach that didn't want to do it, and they're not either coaching or they're not winning if they are coaching. You can't fight the portal. You can't fight NIL. You cannot fight what a kid knows that he can do and the money he can earn, and think that you can stand on values and brand and that's going to be good enough. You're Boise State. And with all due respect, you're not on that level.
Mm-hmm.
You're not on that level. Your facilities are beautiful. You've made significant investments. You're still not on that level. You're not Bama. You're not Oregon. You're not dictating to kids what they can and cannot earn. They are dictating to you. And again, I understand that Boise is probably not contending for the same cut of athlete that Utah is, that Oregon is. Totally understand that. I think BYU and Boise fight for the same kids, and they're going to go to BYU over Boise, all things being equal. Honor code be damned. They're going to go to BYU because they're going to earn more money at BYU than they will at Boise. They will have more opportunity for a college football playoff appearance at BYU than they will at Boise.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. BYU is going to play in bigger stadiums, in bigger games, wearing better uniforms. And you can earn money as a freshman in NIL. This is, and I don't know if this is going too far. Is this cutting off your nose to spite your morals? Is that what this is? Are you bucking the system and trying to be something special and unique? Because all you did yesterday in Boise is you damaged your program, which is very different than what Brian Kelly at LSU did, I remind you.
You know, we're selling something a little bit differently, and that is we want to recruit, we want to engage, build relationships, we want to develop, retain, and have success. We're not in the market of buying players, and unfortunately, right now, you know, that's what some guys are looking for. They want to be bought, and look, I understand NIL is part of this, and we have an incredible collective. We have very, very generous opportunities around the greater Baton Rouge area for NIL opportunities. So they are here, but we're not going to go out and buy players. That's not what.
You can say that when you've got the tiger on your chest.
Mm-hmm.
You can say that when Jaden went number 2 in the draft and you put multiple other players in the first round.
And he won the Heisman.
You can say that. You can't say that when most people don't know who the football coach at Boise State is. You can't say that when you don't have a recent national championship and recent wins over Alabama. You can't say that when people don't rubber stamp a visit to LSU because LSU sent you a letter. You almost crapped yourself when you saw the envelope in the box. Or when Brian Kelly is texting you, you know who Brian Kelly is.
Yeah.
You don't know the name of the Boise State football coach off the tip of your tongue. And I understand that over here in the Mountain West, maybe that's how Boise State likes it. But all you did yesterday was stood on your morals, which is well and good. You damaged your football program yesterday. That's all you did. And I think you can't possibly put yourself next to Brian Kelly, who essentially said the same thing, and then go a step further and say freshmen cannot earn NIL money. And then have to clarify it to the media afterwards.
Yeah, and by the way, it's not your business if a freshman can go out into the community and get paid. That's not your concern. Like, I hate to say this, but it's the reality of the situation. Like, there are going to be kids, and we're seeing it already, who understand how to leverage this individually. They understand, hey, like, you know, I always point to Arch Manning or you know, Buddy at Ole Miss, right? Getting these private jet deals. They
look at Shedeur. Look at Travis Hunter. Like, those guys are making millions. NIL is never going to be about the Shedeurs or the Arches. It's going to be about the second string offensive lineman getting Built Bar to pay for a scholarship. It's about, those are the deals that matter. The kids at Utah that all got pickup trucks, those are the deal. It helps their lives, right? If you're a star player, you're probably making tens of thousands or millions, depending on where you are and what your profile is. At a minimum, you're making 6 figures. Caitlin Clark did very well, was able to stay in school because of the money she was making. But I'm telling you, at Boise State, you're not playing in the same pool.
Yeah.
You're not playing in the same zip code. The earth is flat or the earth is round. People, the earth is round. You're trying to make the argument that you're somehow on the same level. You're not. You're not. And the sad truth is, Boise's a great market. Boise State's a great football program that just won't stop telling you how great they are because they have a perception versus reality problem.
Yeah.
And again, why isn't Fresno making the same outlandish remarks? Why isn't San Diego State making the same outlandish remarks?
Why
isn't Wyo making the same? Because it's not the right thing to do at their level. Did we not learn from the pro rata we deserve? And I'm being serious. Did we learn nothing from a G5 trying to leverage themselves against P5s like Boise State is trying to do with NIL? Did you learn nothing from your friends in the conference?
No, apparently not.
It's a mistake. It's a huge mistake.
Yeah, and I just don't. I don't understand what the emphasis was or the catalyst was for Spencer to come out and do this. Like, obviously Brian Kelly made the comments, so I'm sure he saw those, but
I'm guessing.
But just the same way on the show yesterday, I was like, hey, Brian Kelly wouldn't just come out and say this out of the blue. Like, this is clearly a planned tactical thing that, the athletic director's in on. I'm sure school admin is in on some level. Like, multiple people have talked about this in a meeting and said, hey, yeah, this seems like a good strategy. Why don't we take this route and see, just what we can get out of it, and see if we can avoid having to deal with these kids who just want money, and see if we can find kind of that happy medium of kids who obviously want to make money, but also really prioritize having a good experience and being at the school for non-monetary reasons. Like, just the same way I made that point about Brian Kelly and LSU, I'm going to make the same point about Boise State in the other direction. This feels like Spencer doing this on his own. This particular, the way this came off, the way he was talking about it, it didn't seem planned. It seemed like much more of his personal opinion.
And I agree with the Ghost of Gumby here. Being rigid takes the options away from you and your program. Why take a hard line? Why take a hard line?
Yeah.
And I'm going to play it again because I think it is really significant. Listen to what Spencer Danielson, the head coach at Boise State, said yesterday.
Obviously, it's our job as a coaching staff, especially my job as a head coach, to build those relationships with these young men. I tell them, like, I'm involved in these kids' life because I love them, because I care about them, to develop them to be the best version of themselves off the field and on the field. And that is making sure we show them how we're going to develop them for the next level, and keeping the families and everyone connected as you walk through the process, because that's what we're different here. If someone was here just for the money or other stuff, like, that's not going to be a fit here. No different in recruiting. That's why when I talk to recruits, I'm upfront about those things. Like, if you're wanting things that don't directly correlate to you developing, do not come here. If it's about your jersey number and how much money you're getting on the first trip, do not come to Boise State. You will hate me and you will not want to be here. But if you're about developing to be the best version of yourself and be elite and want to compete, bet on yourself, come on. Like, you're going to fit here.
Very virtuous. Very, very utopic. Man, if you want to win, if you want to become a man, sir, come play for me. But if you want to know what jersey number you're going to wear, or you actually want to, make money off your name, image, and likeness, you probably should head to Laramie.
God bless.
That's awesome. Until you actually are like, I actually need to win games. Why don't we go ahead and give that wide receiver a call? I'll pull back that 69 for him.
Come on.
Right? Like, that's what we're this is really, again, virtuous. This is really ethical. This is, you want to get an education, Jimmy? Come play at Boise State, sir.
Yep.
We'll have you shoveling manure on day one. That's great. But that's not how you win football games.
Yeah, and I think that, again, there's always going to be someone in these type of situations who makes a mistake, and I do think this was a mistake. I don't think that it was smart for him to come out and say this. I think it would have been okay to gently and in a more reserved fashion say, hey, like, we have our, because he got asked about, one of his players, and the media question was like, hey, like, there's been a lot of illegal tampering, even though it's not illegal right now, but there's been a lot of illegal tampering and contact. And Spencer just went right down the rabbit hole and was way too aggressive with it. If he had just said, hey, like, we obviously understand that NIL is a big factor in college football right now. We have the conversations with recruits. And we believe that we can go out and find the happy medium between NIL and also wanting to play for Boise State.
But look at Cormani McLean from Colorado.
Yeah.
Because everybody talks about Prime in these conversations. Look at Cormani McLean. He signed with a P5, right? Like, major university, got a huge NIL deal after he left Prime. Oh, wait, no, that hasn't happened. Cormani McLean is the player that we're talking about, because he went in there as the #1 corner recruit in the country, and then he didn't want to watch tape, refused to take his iPad to his dorm room to study, got paid, got his number, and then Prime went and put him on the field. And when he did put him on the field, he failed miserably because he was not prepared.
Yeah.
And then he transferred, and his mom ripped Prime. He ripped Prime. And then his NIL agent said, we have offers across P5 schools. We'll have an announcement shortly. Cormani McLean is still not signed. He is still a free agent.
I thought you had offers, dude.
But this is what we're talking about. Is Cormani McLean even going to consider Boise State? Or excuse me, Boise State?
No,
he's not. No, he's not. Rip Boise, Gumby says, here in the Monty West. Exactly. Exactly. Big Daddy Magic. Hey, playa, I would go to Boise State over BYU. And if they were my only two choices, I would rethink my football career. Good call. Caleb Williams is better than Victor Wembanyama. Boise coach better win now. That lease is short. Yes, it is. Everyone following Prime now. Prime said it first that he is not in the business of NIL, but NFL.
Well, but see, here's the difference, though. See, and this is the other fascinating part of the conversation. Why can Prime say that, but Buddy Spencer here can't say that?
Because Deion Sanders is a lightning rod.
Oh, that's right. Deion played in the NFL, has put guys in the league, and you believe in his ability. And yeah, sure. Was the Twitter spat that he had last week or the week before ideal? No.
Not
Did he
good.
apologize? Yes. So Deion has an advantage on you because he is in a Power 4 program and he has NFL experience, bro.
And he brings in a guy like Travis Hunter, who is inarguably one of the best players in college football now.
Yeah. So
he's
what
shown you he can
about?
develop. He's shown you he can develop players.
And they're already saying Shedor's a top 5 pick before the season's even started.
If he survives. We'll see how that O-line does. Sir Bob Lob, what if he wins? Very interesting question. Very interesting question.
He better win.
But what if there is no earth? Now, this is a legitimate concern. NIL doesn't matter if there is no earth.
Right.
You know.
Well, that's the issue, isn't it?
San Diego State Glenn says we learned from the pro rabbi.
Yeah, I love that we haven't heard from J.D. Wicker in how long?
Smart. OG Gary. Gary's favorite team is Boise State. So this will be interesting. Are you pissed off we're saying that yet? I would love to see Kirby say the same thing in other big name schools. Yes, me too. Hopefully that shifts sentiment on NIL being the main thing to NIL being a supplemental or a nice add-on to develop. You're going to be paying players any way you want.
I think that there's real credence to the big boys trying to get players to get back on track mentally. I don't think that Brian Kelly is trying to say that they don't want to pay people. I think what he's trying to say is, hey, we don't want you coming here just for money. What we want is for you to want to be an LSU Tiger.
Go
and
Tigers.
In addition to that, understand that part of that experience is making money.
Which is what Prime has said.
Yeah.
Prime has said that he wants kids to be about making a life. And I watch his Amazon Prime show. It's called Prime on Prime. And he talks to kids directly on that show all the time. You're here to save yourself. A lot of you, and he straight up says it, most of you are not going to the NFL. Get a degree. Colorado's got, he says, Colorado gives you a great education, get a degree, go make your money. I don't think Deion's anti-NIL.
Yeah.
I think what he is NIL being the only thing. That's what he's against.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But who am I to know? Chrissy, Prime said he's not in the business of talking money with players. He said he does not like collectives. Prime likes NIL, but not collectives. I think we're having the same conversation.
What head coaches don't like is kids being distracted mentally. So you can't have a kid who's more focused on sales than he is on watching game tape.
And it's what coach is talking about at Boise State.
Yeah.
Don't show up here day one and say, what's the uniform look like? What number? I want my number one, because every kid wants to wear number one, apparently. I want number one. And how much are you going to pay me every year? Guarantees in NIL. Don't ask me that right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Like, at least take me out to dinner and let's make out for a while first. I mean, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
UW fan Jim, tell me you don't have NIL money without saying it. Well, that could be. Giggity. Glad he wants kids to compete against themselves because they won't be competing against other teams with this strategy. No, they won't. No, they won't. John Dry. In the fall transfers, Colorado will probably transfer again. In the fall, the transfers Colorado just got. Maybe. But anymore, like I always talk about Bobby Hurley at Arizona State basketball. Mm-hmm. He flips his roster every year. He had a great recruiting class in portal this year. Guys like Prime. Everybody makes a big deal about the guys going in and the guys going out. Did you win or did you not? They arguably had a better year last year than they had in a decade. Now he needs to become bowl eligible. He's going to win 6-7 games this year.
Yes.
The Big 12 needs him. That's going to be the bar. We make far too much about how many kids come and how many kids go.
Yeah.
We make far too much out of that. Are you winning with the kids that are coming and going? We'll find out. Let's see. Chrissy Cormani was getting paid $25K by Colorado collectives and didn't do dick.
Yeah.
Would not study. Would not. Like there was and I don't remember who the player was. One of his teammates, not with the last name Sanders, took a picture of Cormani's locker last year. And his iPad is sitting right there on his bench, and Cormani is gone. Like, how are you leaving your iPad in your locker, dude? In the middle of a season with all of your video and all of it,
bro.
It truly, I can film study on the flight to Vegas. You never did. Don't conflate with with inquiries. Exactly. Got here late about Coach Prime. He can recruit and develop, but can he win the big games? Jury's still out on him as a head coach, no doubt.
Yeah, still proving to do.
Jeremiah Champion. I can't find Buffalo Bills tickets for less than $109 right now. He is making Colorado money. Oh, Buffalo tickets. They did not sell out their spring game, though, which is interesting. So, Chris C. Prime can win big games. Colorado played most ranked teams last year and lost by an average of 7 points. With better trenches, they win many games. If they had this offensive line and defensive line, they'd have won 8 games last year.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about it. I'm fine with jersey number 69, Gumby says.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Okay.
Next portal opens December 4th during bowl games. Colorado will be fine. Yeah, you're done now. Kids are done moving. Plain and simple. Now it's about summer work. Now it's about building consistency.
Mm-hmm.
But this NIL thing's not going anywhere. And I don't know if you guys saw it real quick before we start non-sports nonsense. New legislation introduced. The Ball Act would ensure that the NCAA conferences and institutions can regulate recruiting, eligibility standards, and how athletes receive compensation without facing further litigation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, little old Monty over here, we've talked about this at length.
Yeah.
I think you need a government action to protect against further lawsuits. Because you're going to give up $3 billion here if you're the members that make up the NCAA. You're paying $3 billion. It is what it is. Deal with it. But you cannot continue to get litigated against.
Mm-hmm.
And this is from Russell Fry, a Republican from South Carolina, and Barry Moore, the Republican from Alabama. They wrote an act, the Protect the Ball Act. Now, I think, as many have said, this is part of a larger piece of legislation, giving the NCAA stability and a foundation to operate on, right? The House versus NCAA lawsuit is the big one that is going to cost the NCAA and its institutions $3 billion.
Uh-huh.
So Congress has to act, in my opinion, because I don't know, and maybe you get both. I don't see that you're going to be able to collectively bargain with players. That infrastructure doesn't exist. So I think you needed this legislation. The question is, what's the upshot? What's the final package look like to protect the NCAA and its institutions against these continuing lawsuits? And
right.
I don't know that that's going to happen. in totality. You're always going to have lawsuits. You will. Because we're in this society where, well, you know, I don't like the rule as it's applied to me. I'm going to sue.
Right.
That's what we do.
Become common practice now.
It's what we, seriously, it's what we do.
We just do it all the time.
So, I don't know. Do you want Congress and the government involved in this?
I mean, I don't want them to be, but I think we're at that point where it's being necessitated. But
How are you not?
Yeah, I mean, we need some type of governing body to protect the NCAA on some level. Like you can't. It's just not productive to have the NCAA being sued constantly. What is productive is, hey, we need to make this change. We need to make changes to the structure of the business model of the sport. And we need to do that in a different way than just constantly suing the NCAA. I do think that the suits that have been brought so far were necessary, and I do think that they've pushed the ball forward. But yeah, I mean, I think we need some legislature to kind of calm the seas a little bit.
I think this is the only way, because you're looking at, and I always like the big words, but you're looking at an existential crisis for college athletics.
Yeah.
You're looking at the death of the current model. It is what it is. You're looking at the death of the current model. I mean, Shooter Texas says, I was a linebacker. Everyone fought over 44 and 45, the guns.
Yeah, jersey numbers have always been a thing.
Yeah.
This is not new. The what's new is, hey, I'm not going to come play for you if you don't give me number 1 and 20 G's a month.
That's what's new.
Yeah.
Mike Smith, 54, the Mansta. Inches. Chris E. Okay. So now we're only playing by your rules. The NCAA is getting taken to the cleaners. They are approving everything wrong for college football. The conferences need to start taking leadership. Well,
yeah, I think it's a little deeper than that, bro.
I think there's no way to take leadership when you have this ability to leverage everything. And the kids in the lawsuits are leveraging everything. Brandon Boutler, excuse me. Brandon has asked me to pronounce it with French flair. Boutler. He never said that. They need to be involved. At this point, it's become a necessity before college sports is completely a wasteland. Don't disagree with that. Chris E., Congress needs to act or the NFL is going to take over Saturday and Sunday.
They already do, though. Like
San Diego State Glenn, 21, 22, 10, or 37. Surely, 21. Coach, one of those are available or else. Exactly. Or else. All right. Can we get into the reason that Jake is so angry this morning? Why do you hate Hyundai?
Okay.
What is it? What is it? Why did you wake up today? Like Jake, when he walked in the studio today. Right. And I on most days, I'm a nice flowering source of hope.
That's bullshit.
And light first thing in the morning. Which is to say, usually I will insult Jake the minute he walks in the studio. I'll usually roll out something like, what's up, fat ass? Hey, Chubbs. How was the D last night? Something like that.
Right.
To lighten the mood.
Right. To lighten it.
Jake walked in today just in a bad mood. And I said, my friend, how can I help you? What is the pro rata you need this morning to be in a better mood? To which Jake said, I want to burn every Hyundai vehicle to the ground. Now I was shocked. I never knew you to be a firebug, but hey, listen, we all make changes.
Gas, no break
in our lives. So is it because the wifey's out of town?
No.
Are we feeling a little unslurped? Is that what
it's really unfair
when you don't have the ability to unsheath your sword? Like, and listen, these things happen in life.
They do.
These things happen in life.
They do.
But what did Hyundai ever do to you?
Yeah, so Hyundai thinks it's okay to start having add-ons to their vehicles, meaning, oh, you bought this level of vehicle? Okay, cool. So in the car, we're going to allow you to buy certain features like heated seats or or any number of features that you want to point to. And what bothers me so much about this is that it basically is sending a message that all we care about as consumers is an a la carte menu. We just want to be able to buy this, but not that. And that's not necessarily true in the car world. Like in the car world, anytime we're looking, like with the Beamer, like we were looking for a very like specific thing. You know, we were looking for something that was fuel efficient, but also nice. And like we had a whole list of things. I don't want to be told at the dealership, well, you know, hey, if you're not willing to get the top of the line, so you know, we're gonna have add-ons.
Because pimp's pimp, right? And we wear faux fur. We bought an X2M. The first one sold in Utah. Brand new model, brand new redesign. I had to subscribe to get auto start. So Mrs. Monty had to have her Lamborghini. So we had to subscribe to be able to auto start, remote start the car.
So you couldn't just use the key fob. You had to subscribe to get that feature.
And you have to use, much like McDonald's, you have to use their app.
Another thing that annoys the hell out of me.
So now I think we pay a yearly subscription to be able to, like, hey, make sure that the car is heated. They call it pre-ventilation. Make sure the car is cooled. Pre-ventilation. I do that all through the app on the mighty Steve Jobber over here.
Right.
So why is that okay at Beamer, but you hate Hyundai for it?
Because it's two different sectors of people. People buying BMWs or Audi,
right? The elites of the world,
or Benz or whatever.
Us rich folks,
they can afford, you know, $800+ a month, right? Like you can afford, and I'm not shading them for that. I'm saying that, hey, you're pointing to a more luxurious clientele with these vehicles. Hyundai is not pointed at a German auto buyer.
Right, the great unwashed.
Hyundai is pointed at the more mid-level consumer that can afford, you know, $400 to $500 a month.
Yeah, the laborer.
So let me get this right. I'm going to go and buy a Hyundai and then be told that I got to pay for to have access to heated seats. What happened to, okay, I'll just pay more on my loan to get a car with heated seats, you know, like I did 4 years ago. Like, why is it something where we got to constantly have add-ons and subscriptions? Like the app thing, I think is a perfect concept of this. I have no problem with the idea that, hey, like you can control your car with an app. I actually love that. We're in a tech era. People are comfortable with their iPhone, or if you use a garbage Android, more power to you. Like you're comfortable using your smartphone. Okay, cool. I'm good with that. But I shouldn't have to have my smartphone with me to operate the vehicle. Shouldn't have to do that. The key fob should be enough.
Now, if I don't have my key fob, my car runs off my phone.
And that's fine. I'm cool with that. As a backup, I'm cool with that. Hey, you lost your key fob? All right, cool. You can use your phone. Car recognizes the phone. We got that set up. You're no longer in a tough spot. We're good to go. But the idea that, like in the Beamer as an example, one thing that's annoyed you guys is that to change modes, like comfort mode or sport mode or whatever, eco mode, you got to be like logged into the car. You got to have like your profile set up and I'm like, dude,
yeah,
like
it's a pain in the ass. It's a pain. It should be a button.
Because the problem is it robs the car of what it's meant to do. The car is a wonderful machine.
Yeah.
And if I can't access it with ease, what am I really paying for?
But I also think this is part of the inflationary climate that we live in. This is price gouging, admittedly. Now, when we were sitting at the BMW dealership about to buy this car, we talked about the cost of ownership on it. It takes 91 gasoline, nothing less. It is a car that is going to, well, we actually saved money on insurance, I think, if I recall. But the cost of ownership is more. It's a BMW luxury vehicle.
Right, yeah.
I would expect on a Hyundai that I would not have to pay for heated seats every year. I totally agree that if I want auto start, I want it on my key fob and I want it built in. I can tell you the next time that I trade my car in, and it's probably, my Grand Cherokee is sitting in the garage and I don't know that I'm going to trade it in anytime soon. The next time I trade it in, I will probably buy an X3M and it's going to have auto start on the key fob, or I'm not going to buy it. I'm not doing this big ass, like the infotainment BS software shit on it. Give me a button I can push to turn on the radio.
Well, and it's really interesting that, like, when you think about, like, used cars, just generally speaking, certified pre-owned used, whatever, like, we're getting, at least I am getting to a point where when I look at the car market, I'm like, yeah, dude, like I'm going to be looking for something like 2020 to 2023 or 2022, because as soon as you start dipping into 23, 24 and forward,
it gets rough.
It gets real techie, real like.
So wait, what are you doing with the Subi? You're now in I think an equity position, are you not?
A little bit. It depends who you ask. I mean, most valuations I've seen, it's like 24,000 for trade-in value. Privately, you could probably sell for like 30. But I only got it down to like 17,000 left that I have to pay off. So like, don't have a ton left on it. So I don't know. I may just keep it.
And you have one of the goats. You have one of the nicer ones.
Yeah, and so like there are some things I want to do to it. Like I'd like to, like my car's a great example of this. Like my car is a 2017. Subaru in 2018 gave you the much nicer infotainment system. They totally revamped the interior. So like mine, like I'd love to do a new head unit. There are some, just odds and ends, but I appreciate that about my car. Like I can do that to my car.
And you have remote start and heated seats.
I don't, because I have a manual car, and I do have heated seats actually.
You do, yeah.
But like it's just I don't know. It's just the premise of it. I'm someone who has no problem. Like right now I probably couldn't afford it, but like in a couple of years I'd have no problem being like, yeah, dude, like I'm good with the payment, but I want the payment to encompass everything I want in the vehicle. I don't want to have to like with my car. Like, I know I can just walk out to that thing and turn it on, and I don't have to think twice about it. Like, I'm comfortable with it. I know how to do it. It's easy. Like, cool. Like, with the Beamer, I feel like it's like, yeah, you can turn the car on, but there are some days where I've been in the car with you where you got to, like, work hard to get the car to like, see your phone sometimes or, like, to work properly. And that bothers me because it's a BMW. It's a luxury vehicle. It should work well.
It should. All right. Where are you guys at on this? Ghost of Gumby says, I can't even bus pass, bro. Exactly. Brandon Boutler. He's rich. BMW demands the pro rata they deserve.
Right. Like, and again, it's.
Yes, they do.
I sometimes wonder, like why not? So I understand it if someone says to the dealer, hey, like, I love the tech stuff. Like if you're pro app and like this whole process, cool. Like you should have an offering for that. But I don't know why we got to do it lineup wide. Like,
yeah,
give me some options.
Shooter Texas, do you even Lambo, bro?
No.
I wish. Boyd Lake, the SEO king of America. Full control of the vehicle's ability to even operate will soon not be in the control of the consumer. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, and this has been my gripe with Tesla and all the electric product. Yeah. Right? Like the idea that we're like, there was a legislature proposed, it never got passed, but there was legislature this past year that was proposed around, like we should have the ability to turn people's cars off if we want to, and I'm just not for that.
Yeah. Eric and Raleigh, because automakers want to create continuous revenue streams. Yes, they do.
So this was we kind of sold the lead short on this Hyundai thing. Hyundai believes that this process will make them next year. They think it will make them anywhere between $3 to $4 billion.
God damn!
And by 2030, they think that this offering will grow to a point where it's making them 12 to 15 billion a year.
Oh my god!
And so, on some level, I get it because of who you're pointing it at, but on another level, I don't understand it. It's a Hyundai. It should be simple. It should be easy.
Yeah, Jimmy and Karen with their 3 kids are not the ones you want to be milking for billions.
Like, imagine having, like, when you're trying to get the Beamer to work, imagine having a 3-year-old just bawling their ass off in the back seat.
That would be frustrating. Boyd Lake, they can't help themselves. Microtransactions are tempting. Yes, they are. John Ham. Let's go ham. I don't know. Hyundai and Kias are awesome for being able to buy brand new cars with cash, so no loans can drive them $200K and never paying interest. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that is the strong suit with Hyundai and Kia. They have like lifetime warranties and like that. So that's
but
what
it's
I'm saying.
Not like that anymore, though. Wait, but let's be. I think there is a belief that Hyundai and Kia is still. Oh, let's get a Sonata, dude. It's $10,000 and it'll run forever.
Yeah.
They're not cheap anymore. They are not. If you look at Hyundai, what's the SUV?
Tucson?
Or maybe I'm
Palisade?
Palisade. If you look at the Palisade and whatever the other one is that they love.
The Telluride?
Telluride, thank you. Those things are not cheap.
No.
Everybody has this belief, oh, bro, Toyota, they're cheap and they run forever. The hell, they're cheap.
Yeah, new Tacomas are like 50.
Are you out of your mind? No, they're not cheap. And I'm telling you, I think the brand has this, and Hyundai has that 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, which is great. But Hyundai and Kia aren't the cheapest cars in the world anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, let's not get that wrong. Chrissy, I agree. Hyundai used to have a loaded car for $60K. Now they hire German car designers. They are changing for add-on when it used to be standard depending on trim.
Yeah, and
I'm telling you, Hyundai's not cheap anymore.
Like
Genesis?
Yeah. Genesis flopped because it became too expensive. Like you tried to make it a German brand that wasn't German. That's the mystique. See, this is what Kia and Hyundai don't understand. There's a mystique about German brands, right? BMW, Audi, Benz. Like you understand, okay, this is a really high-end quality made vehicle.
You look at the pricing on Hyundais. Let's just look at Hyundai, for instance, right? And you are talking about significant bread, dude. Like you're talking about, and of course I can't, this fucking website won't load. But you're talking about cars like the Elantra, low-end Elantra, $27,000. You're looking at Ioniqs, $57,400 for one of the most popular e-vehicles.
Yeah.
Right? The 6 is $53,000. Hyundai Kona, $33,300 MSRP. Hyundai Palisade, $53,850. Like that's a lot of bread. Their low-end Santa Cruz, their base model, lowest crossover, $27,000. The high models on those, the high trim, $42,000. Hyundai Tucson hybrid, $39,715.
Yeah.
The lowest end Hyundai Tucson, $27,500. They're not cheap anymore. Cars in general are not cheap anymore. They're not.
No.
And it sucks because they're not readily available, in my opinion.
So when you ask me, hey, like, what am I going to do with my car? Like, it's a serious consideration. Like, dude, like I there's a big part of me that's like, hey, like, you could easily keep the car, put 100,000 miles on it, with that particular platform, there's a lot you can do with them to elongate them. Like,
but I point to who's the 22-year-old that can't afford to buy a new car. That's who this is about, because it's not the 1%ers. It's not, and I'm probably downgrading myself, but it's not the BMW buyer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the well-qualified German automotive buyer. It's that guy who doesn't exist anymore, the 27-year-old middle-class American.
Mm-hmm.
That guy doesn't exist anymore. And we are routinely putting people that are paying apartment rent into $1,000 car payments now in this country.
Yeah, can't do it.
We're doing that right routinely.
Yeah.
If your car payment, what is it should be 30% of your income. I think your rent should be 30% of your income, and your car payment should be 30% of your rent.
Mm-hmm.
If you're renting, if you're paying $1,700,
yeah,
your car pay, there's no way your car payment's only 30% of $1,700. Like that's not happening.
Yeah.
There's who's got a car payment that's less than $500?
I don't. And we haven't even talked about insurance or gas yet.
I don't. So this conversation isn't about the mid six-figure earner. This isn't about the $99,999 earner, who, by the way, also can't afford to get a mortgage and have a car.
Yeah, I was watching a video the other day that basically said like $100,000 salary isn't really like a lot of money right now. Like when you look at just how expensive things are, and like, and it's not just rent. Rent's obviously expensive, but like food and gas and like our everyday things, like 100 is no longer like, man, you're rolling, dude. Like they were pointing out, like to be at that that same percentage where you're really comfortable and you've got expendable income and everything's paid and you're out of debt. You got to be like 220, 230 nowadays.
Yeah.
And that's really rare.
But Seth is like, God, these are first world problems. They're not, though, anymore. And that was my point of wrapping this up with, hey, it's not a first world problem. If you're 25 years old trying to buy a Hyundai because you think it's cheap, or a Toyota or a Nissan because you think it's cheap, please don't ever buy Nissan. My point is, nothing's cheap in the car business.
Yeah, and so that's why, like, when I talk to people about this, I'm like, dude, like, there's real value in having 2 cars, but one of them paid off. Like to be in a spot where you can pay your car off and like own that car. Like, the value right now is long term, is holding, is paying things down and holding them until things come back to the middle. And that's the smart play right now.
Yep. Sandusky, Ohio, bro. Good to see you, man. I think I'm the only black dude who drives a Subaru, and I mountain bike as well. All you have to do is add a bike rack, and cops won't pull you over for some reason. Yeah. Hey, I was driving a Subi with a bike rack. All right, college graduate. Not out here looking for weed guys today. All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's that woo where they just you're flying by them. They're like woo, and you're like slow down. You're like, oh, my bad. All right, we'll see you later. Right. That's what that is. Brandon, we are living in a culture where everything has become pay to play. Man, isn't that the truth? Subs are ways companies make money. It is.
Yeah.
The Ghost of Gumby, Hyundai needs to make a vehicle that can't be easily stolen.
Yeah, that's another conversation.
And the older Hyundais and Kias and Toyotas, really easily stolen. Boston Mapes, a member of the show for 16 months. So, Mapes, I've had my Sonata for years. Very little to cheap maintenance, and one issue they covered out of warranty and put in a brand new engine at no cost. Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
I love it. Jeremy Severe, people forgot the beauty of simple things. Just give me a car that uses Bluetooth and fuel mileage and runs. I'm a happy dude. Now I have to pay more for simplicity. Heads will roll. Heads will roll.
Yeah.
There's just no doubt about it. John Hamm, keep it, Jake, and ride it until the tires fall off and you have no car payments.
Yeah, and again, it's I feel lucky in the sense that like my car, is a car that you can easily, you can do a motor on it, you can do the things you want to do to keep it for a really long time, and that's kind of the beauty of the opportunity with it. Like, obviously, yeah, would I love a BMW? Would I love an Audi living in Salt Lake? Would I love an SQ5 or, an X3? Absolutely. Those are awesome cars, and I'm sure I'll have one day. But it's difficult to justify with where things are at right now. It's hard to find them at a decent price.
I agree. At this point, cars are so complex computer-wise, I can't even consider a new car because I can't work on them myself anymore. You have to have a special factory software to even start a repair. Mr. Preston.
Yeah.
That's why Mr. Preston is
the dude,
because that's what he does. Do you guys understand that the scariest thing ever should not be a head gasket going out? It's now the computer.
Yeah.
The brains of your motor, because those things are not cheap at all. All right, real quick, I want to get to this story about sugar and processed foods. Did you guys see this? A new study came out that when researchers looked at intake of ultra-processed foods and sugars, they found that participants who consume the most, averaging 7 servings of processed foods per day, had a higher risk of dying early compared with the people who consumed the least ultra-processed foods. The researchers found that there were certain types of ultra-processed foods that were particularly associated with dying early, including meat, white bread, sugar cereal, and other highly processed breakfast foods, potato chips, sugary snacks and beverages, and artificially sweetened drinks such as diet soda. The study found that people who ate the most ultra-processed foods had an 8% higher likelihood of dying from neurodegenerative diseases such as multiple sclerosis, dementia, and Parkinson's, but they did not find a higher risk of death from cancer or cardiovascular disease. So wait, let me get this right. If you're eating ultra-processed foods and drinking your sugar, because this is a big deal. Drinking your sugar, you're damaging your brain.
Yeah.
That's what this says. That when you eat a lot of potato chips specifically, and note that they didn't say chips in general, potato chips, which are fried, sugar, donuts, candy, when you eat 7 servings or more a day, your mortality rate goes up significantly. Significantly. Ultra-processed foods encompass a broad range from cookies and donuts to potato chips and hot dogs, white bread, and frozen meals. Scientists say these foods have in common is that they are typically formulated with industrial ingredients that are designed by manufacturers to achieve a certain bliss point. Now, I know we talk about this on the show constantly. I am telling you, if you are drinking soda, you're killing yourself. Well, I'm on against diets. I'm telling you, you're killing yourself. You can't do it. I know people that drink a 12-pack of Coca-Cola, full sugar every day. Can't do it. I'm telling you now, if you're drinking full sugar energy drinks, you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
If you are drinking full sugar anything, diet anything, if you're drinking aspartame, you're killing yourself. If you're eating at McDonald's, we just talked about this yesterday. This is why I've stopped eating a lot of fast foods. If you're eating at McDonald's every day, you're killing yourself.
Right.
If you are eating French fries, you're killing yourself. Potatoes are not the demon. It's when you drop them in oil, that makes them the demon.
Yeah.
If you're eating Lay's potato chips, my doctor in Phoenix straight up said to me, if you're eating Doritos, just know that you're killing yourself. Every time you eat a Dorito, you're shortening your life. The guy straight up said that to me.
Yeah.
We've got to be smarter than this. We've got to be smarter than this. Burgers, hot dogs, one of the worst foods you can eat, pizza. It's baked bread with processed meat and cheese on it. All of these foods. Do you ever think about it when you're eating it?
Sometimes I think about it when I eat red meat. Yeah. I think about hey, maybe only eat half of what you order, or because I'm a big proponent of proportions. Or portions, I mean, meaning, hey, it's not going to kill you if you have, steak a couple times a year, let's say, or even for my people who love it, once a month. If you have 6 ounces of steak once a month, that's not going to kill you. However, it's when you are eating it once a week and you are loading it up, and then in conjunction with that, you're having sour cream and you're having, all these different things that it just adds up. That's the problem.
So last night we had fish sticks.
Yeah.
And we had cod fillets.
Yeah.
But what did Mrs. Monty make me eat before she would produce cod fillets? I had half a bowl of broccoli. It's stuff like that. Interesting part of this study. The new findings support the idea that ultra-processed foods are not the same, and that some, including whole grain bread, for example, are actually healthful. Some countries have implemented public health measures to help people improve their diet, such as banning companies from using trans fats in their products. Breads are very interesting. If you are eating white bread or wheat bread, notice it's not whole grain wheat bread. You're basically eating white bread that's colored brown, and they're calling it wheat bread. Whole grain pasta is another example that was used here. Semolina whole grain pasta has healthy properties for you. If you eat like Dave's Killer Bread, for instance, if you eat their seeded, it's healthy for you. It's when you eat things like white Wonder Bread or generic white bread, that's killing you.
Yeah.
It's absolutely killing you. It is one of those things that they talk about how the data they analyzed from thousands of adults who were followed for more than 30 years, right? The study includes 2 groups, 75,000 registered nurses who were tracked from 84 to 2018, a group of roughly 40,000 men who are doctors and health professionals followed from 1986 to 2018. The participants answered questions about their health and lifestyle habits every 2 years and provided details about the food they ate every 4 years. They provided a detailed diary of their food intake. It's really interesting to me that this is now long form studies.
Yeah, I think that it's a culture thing. That's what our food is for us. Like it's a culture thing and a lack of time thing. So culturally speaking, depending on the household you live in and the way you go about it, you're obviously going to eat a certain way. Sometimes that's healthy, sometimes it's not healthy. I think that as adults, when you have kids, like you are prioritizing efficiency over health, which I'm not judging you for. I'm just saying that in life, this is what we deal with. And so it's kind of this thing, like we just got done talking about the cars. Food is also expensive. Like,
yes, it is.
Again, and it's a cop out if you're single or, you have more means, like you don't really have an excuse, right? Such as in like myself. But like when you have kids and you have a family and like you have errands to run, like it becomes more difficult to do these things. You and Mrs. Monty have a huge advantage that it's just you two and you have all the time in the world to make good food.
And we're 1%ers. Financially, we do well. So we do things like we bake sweet potatoes every weekend. We do things, like we have access to food that most people don't. And one of the foods that was pointed out in this study was bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that bacon's one of the worst foods you can eat?
Yeah.
Like processed sausage for like sausage patties for breakfast. One of the worst things you can eat.
Mm-hmm.
And I love them. I don't eat bacon. I probably eat bacon once or twice a year. That's it. And usually, like I had it at Ruth's Chris over the weekend on my wedge salad. I'm not a guy that's just going to pick up a bacon strip and eat it. It's terrible for you. And I know it is. It's one of the things like what I told the story when we went to Vegas a couple of weeks ago. We stopped at Five Guys. I couldn't bring myself to eat the French fries. Yes, I said that. A French fry-aholic said, yeah, I can't bring myself to eat French fries because I know what it's doing to you. I know what it's doing to you, right? But how many people can afford to eat something other than pot pies? How many people can afford to provide their kids with anything other than cornflakes in the morning, which is one of the worst cereals you can eat?
Yeah, and I also think about the fact that it's kind of like, when you eat it too. So like obviously the quality of the food you eat is paramount, of course, right? That's what the study says. It's a pretty easy concept to understand. But I also think the portion combined with the time you eat it also really matters. Like I know for me, like if I know like, hey, like for lunch today, I'm going to go and get something, I know that, okay, it's the middle of the day. What am I really looking at here? So I'm looking at if I eat something bad, that's probably not going to keep me up tonight. But if I eat something good, like it'll probably help me sleep better tonight because by the time I get to bed, that'll be mostly through me. So it's like, I don't think we go through those thought processes, which again brings me back to my point of, hey, we eat out of convenience, not out of purpose. And I think that's the trouble.
Your food, in my opinion, needs to be utility. It needs to be, I'm eating this because of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's huge. Wow, look at that. Talking with Raphael podcast on BYU Radio. It's not. Get it wherever you get your podcasts. The FDA and whatever the other name for food inspection is needs to change. Regulate the food industry and inform us of what food we consume. Oof. Read your labels. Read your labels. Chrissy, I gained a few weight and was in pre-diabetes stage. Lost weight, got back to under 180 pounds and no more diabetes. All one needs is water and portion control.
I'm telling you. And then if you can just work in some exercise, like
that's
the
body
thing. Is
that's
amazing. So the body is an amazing thing. And this is something that, and I don't know if this like works for everybody. I know that you're very aware of how you're feeling and your body but for me, like I notice huge differences depending on the day of the week. Like I've been preaching this for some time. During the week, when it's, hey, get up at 4:30 or 4:15, usually, work from essentially 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. with an hour lunch break. I don't feel nearly as good during the week as I feel when I get to Friday night. I get my ass in bed around 9 o'clock. Call me old if you want to, but I get my ass in bed at 9 o'clock. And then the next day, usually we're up and we're golfing. And the reason that matters is because you're getting a lot of sun and a lot of activity early in the day.
Well, and this is why we take some Fridays off in all seriousness, because it's very difficult during we don't take any days off during the football season. We just don't. In the summer, we take a good bit of Fridays off because we grind all year long. You can't get up I get up at 4 a.m. every day. You can't get up at 4 a.m. I went to bed at 10:15 last night. Can't do it. But watching Knicks and Pacers, watching NBA basketball, so when you guys, lose your shit over us taking Fridays, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, and I think that, when you look at, and I've said this for years on our show, and we've had so many discussions about it, and I think it's a great discussion. Like, if you're someone like us who works as much as we do, that can't be a forever thing for you.
No,
it can't be, I can't believe I'm saying this, and I love that we have this plaque here now. We've crossed 100,000 subs, and the show's got to where it's got. But there's a heavy price to pay for that. There's a lot of it's a random Thursday. Yeah, I feel like trash today getting out of bed because I was up till 10:15 watching the Knicks or, whatever, and trying to do the job. And so with life, I feel like right now for me, I'm like, okay, I need to properly fuel myself with the food, but I need to make sure that I'm eating good enough that it lasts. And that's why the problem,
bro. That's why I take vitamins every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first and the last thing I do when I get out of bed and before I go to bed. And I think it's critical. I truly do. I think it's critical. California has started, but the FDA needs an overhaul. Totally agree. Gumby says, rip me. Giggity. What was the average time cut out of your life by eating processed foods? There wasn't an average time because it varies person to person because our genetics are so different. But a lot. What we're learning now is that everybody is different. We are all unique individuals, right? Just because you are I have 20 pounds minimum I could lose, but I guarantee you I am as healthy as I've ever been. And we talk about this all the time. I'm a big believer that you need to go get your colonoscopies. If you are 40 years old and you have any family history, God, I hope you had a colonoscopy. If you eat red meat, you better go get a colonoscopy. If you eat red meat, you better eat oatmeal. You better eat vegetables. You better eat berries.
Drink your damn water.
You bet. And this is the other thing. We joked about it. We actually got the squatty potty up in the crib now, right?
Yeah.
Like the bench for your feet when you're pooping. But do you understand how important it is? We don't want to talk about things like colonoscopies and pooping, but you better look at it.
I'm telling you, dude. And again, maybe I'm hyper aware or something, but when I prioritize water and then fiber with the water, that makes a profound difference in not only how I feel, obviously the ease with which I handle the business, and you just feel better. And that's why I say it's life is such an interesting conundrum because there's a price to pay for everything you do, whether that's
nothing's free.
Like golfing, even as an example, you're obviously spending 4 hours, of your Saturday, your day off, out on a golf course and getting sun and doing those things. And that's great. We love that price that we pay for that. But it other things, the price is more difficult to bear.
Can you imagine how weaponized I would be if I slept 8 hours every night?
And that's why I say,
God.
I'm not saying the show or our schedule is going to end anytime soon, but I swear to God, the day that we have more time, the day that I can sleep, the day that I don't have to stay up to watch the Knicks and I can go to bed and then get up and go to the gym, and I could do that for 18 months in a row, would be amazing.
My average time in bed is 7 hours. My average sleep time is 6 hours and 32 minutes. And I wear an Apple Watch Ultra, and you need 90 minutes minimum of REM sleep. And I get that about 5 days a week. But I'm with you. There's a couple of Wednesday night is always brutal for me.
Yeah.
Thursdays are tough days.
My average for this past month, my average REM sleep per night's 1 hour and 12 minutes. And I'm getting 6 hours and 17 minutes of sleep a night, which is just not enough.
It's not great at all. Drink your water, eat your broccoli. And don't forget, tomorrow is Giving Friday on the Monty Show, presented by the Advocates. Hit them on Venmo. You don't have to wait. Tomorrow, we will give away a minimum of $100 Amazon gift card on the show for somebody who donates. Kim Coulter's already in on that. Advocates donations on Venmo. Just put Monty in the comment section. They'll know what it's for. Monty for the kids. That's going to be our comment section minimum tomorrow. Monty for the kids.
Yeah.
Monty for the kids. Venmo, Advocates donations, giving back to the community, taking care of our kids who can't take care of themselves. Giving Friday tomorrow, presented by the Advocates. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.